So, 3 of my favorite worlds in VRChat. Let's go take a look. VRChat actually has a lot to offer when it comes to VR worlds. The immersion level is far greater than anything you see in any of the other platforms. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but the fact of the matter is that it's true. VRChat leads all of the other platforms in detail and atmosphere, creativity, and all around immersion. Take a look at this world. This world is called Magic AI Art Dimensions. Here, you start out in sort of a cloudy abyss. This isn't the whole world, this is just the entryway where you can kind of look around. You can see a sort of portal that you can go through, and when you do, you find yourself in a tunnel that leads you here, where you float around in ether space. And from here, you can pick many other tunnels to check out different corners of the world, such as this one, which is my favorite, Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat is kind of an art world, where you get to see 2 ways to view every cat. This kind of goes along with the concept of Schrodinger's cat as a thought experiment that illustrates how, in quantum physics, a system can exist in multiple states at once until it's observed. Or, depending on who you ask, that reality doesn't unfold until it's observed. Whichever. In the scenario, a cat is sealed in a box and considered both alive and dead until someone opens the box to find out. So I've always been intrigued by this concept, although I disagree with it entirely. In fact, I think Schrodinger himself proposed the idea as sort of a joke just to help illustrate a larger concept. But whatever, I think it's a really cool section of the world. This cat right here, this one's probably my favorite. Now, you can choose from other tunnels too, and these other tunnels take you to different sections filled with cool stuff, like these spheres filled with AI art. Early AI art is cool to look at. It's like a fever dream. There's something uniquely captivating about the early AI art. It's clumsy and it's abstract. It's like looking at ideas that are only half formed. Definitely worth taking a look. Now, for those of you with thalassophobia, the fear of deep water, or fear of depth in general, you're going to love this part of the world. The 3D immersion here is exceptionally effective. The sense of scale and depth here is shockingly good. It feels vast and endless, like you're suspended somewhere that you're not supposed to be. And what makes it worse is that there are things waiting for you down here. I'm not gonna lie, this one really creeps me out. And what nightmare would be complete without a Spartan pit of death? But there are other parts of the world here that are far more chill, places where you can just sit back and relax and collect your thoughts. Places that are calm and almost meditative. Magic AI Art Dimensions feels less like a single world and more like many worlds, or more like an experience. This one definitely has a lot to offer. So here's another world. This one is called Waking Dream. In this world, you spawn into a bizarre sort of hallway with something that I can only describe as severe stick drift. Once you enter the doorway to begin your journey, you enter what looks like a childhood room. It's like some kind of early memory. You're surrounded by all your stuff and all your possessions, all your cherished treasures, little fragments of a life scattered all around you. It feels deeply nostalgic, but also strangely personal, like you've stepped into someone else's memory. You can just look around and look at all your stuff, maybe even just hang out here for a while just to enjoy it. It's actually kind of comfortable. But eventually, you have to step out into the rest of the world, into the waiting world to start your journey. And here, you're presented with what I believe are supposed to be various core memories of a life. Each of these spheres are like doorways that you can enter that represent various rooms or places or memories. Each little world feels significant, perhaps core memories of a life lived. One of them is even what looks like a first car, or perhaps it's just a favorite car, I'm not sure. And there are other places here too. There's an art studio, an empty room, a museum, even a very special looking wooded park by a river. And many more. There are many doorways here to explore, so many precious memories. There are dozens and dozens of them. Each one a tiny little world, each one highly detailed. Eventually, though, after you go through all of these little moments in time, you're presented with a tall spiral stairway to a glowing door. Now, I'm assuming that this is death, the big checkout. I won't include that as part of this video, I don't want to spoil it for you. Some worlds shouldn't be explained, they need to be experienced. So, if you want to see that part, you'll have to see it for yourself. Now, this third world I have to include. I say that because this world is very special to me. This world has had a drastic effect on how I view virtual reality, and quite possibly it plays a large role in me being in VR at all. This world is called Beyond a bit. So, just to give you some backdrop, when I first got my VR headset, I was very excited to start going into VR. I had heard the stories and I had watched the videos, and it just looked so cool. But not only that, I just had such high hopes for the future of virtual reality. Not just what it was at the time, but what it could one day become. The potential of VR just intrigued me, and when I finally decided to get a headset, I just couldn't wait to get in there and check it out. I felt like I was standing at the beginning of a new era. But when I did go in that first time, I was immediately disappointed. All I found was the black cat. All I found were public lobbies filled with noise and chaos, people yelling slurs at each other, trolls trying to rage bait any victims they could find. It felt nothing like what I had imagined, nothing like what I was hoping for. Those first few times, every time I put on the headset, I saw the same thing. A toxic environment filled with toxic people. It was nothing like what I had imagined. It was nothing like what I was hoping for. I had had such high hopes for VR, and my expectations were shattered. And it was like that every time, even to the point where I decided that I was going to find my receipt and return my headset. I just didn't want it anymore. So it was that final day that I was in there, just sitting in the black cat, getting ready to take off my headset for the last time and put it back in the box to return it, that someone came up to me. She could tell that I was new, and she asked me what I thought about VRChat. I was truthful. I said I think it sucks. I told her what I thought about it and what I thought about the people that I've seen so far, and she just said, no, wait, you can't judge VR on these public lobbies. And then she opened up a portal. Now, I had never been through a portal before. That's how new I was. She opened up a portal and she brought me here, just the two of us, to Beyond a Bit. And we watched this show, this amazing show of three-dimensional immersion, music, and fantastic art. And it just blew me away. This was at least part of what I was hoping to find. This world showed me at least a hint of the potential that I had fallen in love with. This is the world that made me say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to return the headset. This is the world that made me stay, the world that made me say, I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to try and find a place for myself here. I'm going to try to be a part of this. Eventually, I learned to avoid the public lobbies and I found good communities to be a part of. And eventually, I met good people and I started becoming a part of things in my own way. But it was that world that made the difference for me, Beyond a Bit. That world that turned me around. As to the person who showed it to me, the person who opened a portal and invited me in, I don't even know whatever happened to her. I don't remember who she was. I wish I did because I'd like to tell her thank you. I'd want to tell her thank you for pointing me in the right direction. That one interaction changed a lot for me. I wish I could remember who she was. But anyway, I think that most people who go into VR for the first time experience the same sort of thing. But I think a lot of them never find their way out of the public lobbies. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why so many people don't like VR. They put on a headset a few times, visit some toxic public lobby in VRChat, and then say, no thanks, not interested. Kind of like what I went through, except no one came along to show them a way out the way that someone did for me. Well, anyway, what do you think? Drop a comment below. Or if you want to let me know about any good worlds to check out, then go ahead and drop that in the comments below. Also, I want to let you know that I've recently set up a Twitch and a Discord server. All are welcome to join. Those links are down below as well, so go check it out. In the meantime, I want to thank you for joining me. I am Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.